This is EB3, speaking the truth in love, and I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. This is basically for the young women out there. I just want to say that you need to be careful who you take advice from. But before I get into that, like, subscribe, and comment if you want more content like this. And I also want to get ready to read something for you. So Psalms 1, everybody know I go back to the word all the time. That's who I am. Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper." And it goes on to talk about the ungodly, but right now I just want to talk about getting wise counsel. So oftentimes, I've seen so many times where people have, whether it's older women or whether it's your friends, whether it's your co-workers, but a lot of times people have good intentions but bad advice. Like, they're not giving you bad advice out of malicious. Now, some people do, but for the most part, a lot of people are not giving you bad advice just to be giving you bad advice. Sometimes they're giving you advice that they've gotten. But the thing is, if it didn't work for them, then it's probably not going to work for you. So my advice to you is to seek wise counsel. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was much younger, and I first started dating I'm a widow now, but when I first started dating my husband, I was around 17, 18 years old, somewhere in there. I know I was a senior in high school. And some of the older women, I will not say their name, but when they found out I was dating him, and of course my husband is so much older than me, they didn't tell me not to date him because he was older than me or anything like that. But what they told me was I needed to get everything I could out of this man. And I was, just like perplexed, because that's really not how I felt like I was brought up. But these women, they really meant what they said. I don't know if they didn't think that the relationship was going to work, and maybe they just felt like I just needed to get everything I could and get out, because that's basically what they said. But to this day, I'm not really sure why they pulled me to the side and said these things. But I went to looking at the things that I knew about them, and it wasn't working for them. So me being me, I've always been that kind of person that says, hey, if it's not working, I look at the person that's giving me advice. If it's not working good for them, then I know most likely it's not going to work for me. And so that's why, rather than doing what they said to do, I dated with the purpose of thinking about long term. The Bible's, we just got through reading, "Blessed is the man who walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." So we have to make sure the advice that we are given, or that we're receiving, is righteous advice. Rather than saying that, they should have been saying, make sure that you don't um, have sex with this man, get to know him, find out what he's all about, ask these questions. And these are the things that I did. I asked the questions. You know, for many, many years, he always joked with me and said, look, you are asked the same question about 5 or 6 different times, try just to see if I'm going to give you another answer. And yes, I do that. Sometimes it probably feels like with people that I'm getting to know, that they're on an interview. But I'm telling you, dating is not just for you to have sex. And I know this is unpopular for the world's view, but I am a Christian. I do believe in saving sex for marriage. I think, you know, oftentimes we get into different things, especially as women. We're not made like a lot of times women think that they can have sex and not have any kind of feelings. They're not gonna, but they do. They may not realize it, but they do have feelings. That's why when you see them with somebody else, you get this rage on the inside. Even if you don't act on it, you get this feeling on the inside. It's called jealousy. And you want them the more. I mean, you might fight over them. But the thing is, if you jump into relationships too fast and don't slow down and get to know a person, what you got is what you got. Whether you marry him or y'all just dated for just a short, quick time. Look, young ladies, don't just be a notch on a man's belt. Respect yourself. Set up some standards. And have a list of things that's just your absolute. I'm not putting up with that. You know, when I first started dating my husband, I was so young. I had only had like 2 boyfriends before. But the one boyfriend that I really, really, really liked, I think that if it had worked out, I probably wouldn't have married the person that I married, because I really, really liked him. I mean, to me, we were the perfect match. We liked the same things, basically. We both grew up in church. His grandfather was a pastor. I knew his grandfather. I loved him like a daddy. You know, it was just good. I mean, he was just a good guy. But he was a guy. And as good as he was, he just was not ready. You know, we were young. He was just not ready to be one to be settling down to one woman. And I don't know if he ever became that kind of man that would settle down. I mean, he was a good guy, but he liked the ladies. I'll put it like that. And so that did not work out, because I found out he had somebody pregnant. And so for me, that is a deal breaker. I don't care how good you are. A deal breaker for me is you're not going to hit me. You're not going to call me out my name. And you're not going to be cheating on me. That's deal breakers. A lot of things we could work out. You know, a whole lot of things we could work out. Like with me and my husband, we worked out a lot of things. But as far as I know, and like I said, he's dead and gone. God bless his soul. But as far as I know, he never cheated on me. And I could tell you, he never hit me, because that is a deal breaker. He did say some things a couple times, and I was just like, you know, I'm not putting up with that. You don't have not now another time to say that, because I'm going to walk out and I'm not going to come back. And so he never did that again. But the thing is, you got to have standards. You got to have morals in yourself. And you got to respect yourself. And that's just godly. But listen, yeah, we all have needs. We all have needs. That's understandable. And once you start doing certain things, It's hard to stop. Uh, but I'm going to say this like a very wise woman said when I was growing up. Everybody should know everything about you. There's certain things that you only do with a husband. And you don't treat everybody like a husband. Everybody's not worthy to be. If they haven't put a ring on that finger, they're not worthy to be treated like a husband. So, young ladies, think about, the truth is we can't compete with the men. I mean, we think we can. I know what modern women says, and it's been pretty dominant that women have want to, the sexual revolution, the burning of the bras, and all that different stuff before my time, and of course probably before a lot of y'all's time. But listen, I'm going to put it like this. A woman can get pregnant one time in 9 months. Now, in that one time, she can have multiple babies in that one time. Like, she can get pregnant with a single baby. She can get pregnant with twins. And she can get pregnant with, multiple babies. But when she's pregnant for those 9 months. Granted, nothing happened. But a man, while you're pregnant on doing that one pregnancy, during those 9 months, a man can get several women pregnant. So you see, you really can't compete with him. You're the receiver. He's the giver. So you can't compete with him. It doesn't matter how many. It doesn't make you. I hear so many young women, and I hear so many older women telling young women that get you some revenge. You're not getting revenge. The only thing you're doing is giving more men a part of you that shouldn't have that part of you. We got to go back to knowing what it means to be a woman. And one of the things it means is you're supposed to be a helpmate. You're not supposed to be a doormat. You're not supposed to be giving it to everybody that asks for it. You gotta have some standards. You gotta have some standards. And if you must drink, and this is not an advocate for drinking, but if you must drink, you should be with people that you trust. And any other thing that you do. Me personally, even before salvation, I've never been drunk. I've never been high or any of those things, because I've seen so many times where young women get messed up. Even some young men, but I'm really talking to young women right now. But I've seen so many people get messed up on drugs. And people take advantage of you. Whether you know it or not, when you're drunk, you're laid out, or you're high and you don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, that's why so many women don't know who their baby daddy is. Because you have been with more men than what you actually know that you've been with. Anytime you get drunk and you don't have a good set of friends that will look after you, make sure you get home safely, it's a possibility that you might get pregnant at night by somebody that you don't know. And it's a possibility that you may be having a sexual relationship with more than one person at that time. And so, again, let's be wise and get wise counsel before we do things. Learn how to listen to somebody who's been through something, or somebody who may not have actually been through it, but know somebody who's been through it. Like, I know at least 7 or 8 people who have been drugged, who have really literally been drugged, and that's men and women. And I even know a young man. Well, he's older now, but we were all young during the time, and I remember him saying that he got drunk, he was out with his some friends, but some kind of way they split up, but he was really, really drunk, and he woke up, and somebody had took advantage of him. And, to this day, he doesn't know who it was. So think about it. If they do a man like that, a full-grown man like that, what in the world would they do to a woman? Let's be wise. Let's pay attention to our surroundings and accept wise counsel. Accept the warning. And maybe stay home sometime. When you feel like, when there's signs that you should stay home at that time. But seek wise counsel. Seek wise counsel. Seek wise counsel. This has been EB3, speaking the truth in love. I did get off the subject a little bit, but I just want young women to realize that you got too much going for you to just be throwing your life away. Be blessed. I'm out.